Okay, class, so today we are going to go on a digital vocabulary field trip. This week we are reading chapters 11 through 14 of the Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane. And we know that understanding our vocabulary words is important, so we are going to go on a digital vocabulary field trip to explore each vocabulary word. So your instructions are, you will simply click on each link provided within each slide to explore the definitions, synonyms, and antonyms of each word. Then you will record a definition in your own words, synonyms, antonyms, and examples or non-examples for each word in your graphic organizers. And you'll also need to be sure to answer any questions on each slide in your journal. So this is an example of what your graphic organizer will look like. You have your word that you'll put in the middle. You'll go up here and write your definition in your own words. Your synonyms over here, your antonyms that you find over here, and then at the bottom is where you will write your example of a sentence using your vocabulary word and a sentence with a non-example of how you would use your vocabulary word. So for chapter 12, our vocabulary word is exhilarated. We see this in our story when the narrator speaks, "The sun was shining and Edward felt exhilarated." And so we have a picture over here that kind of gives us a clue of what exhilarated may mean in this sentence. So you're simply going to click on this link to find your definition. And then you'll go here and you'll just type in your vocabulary word, and then here you will find your definition. And so that's when you will go to your advanced organizer and put the definition within your own words. And then you're going to click on the second link to find your synonyms and antonyms. So we'll click on this link and you'll just type in your word again. And here you have a synonym: happy, cheerful, animated, and then if you scroll down here to the bottom, you have antonyms. So depressed could be an antonym for exhilarated. And then we'll go back. You'll create two sentences with an example of the word exhilarated being used, or exhilarate, in a sentence, and then you'll create a non-example of how you would use exhilarate or exhilarated in a sentence, and that's the bottom section of your advanced organizer. And then you have your question that you need to answer. Each question is different for each vocabulary word. Your question for exhilarated is, what are two verb forms of exhilarate? And you'll record the answer to this question in your journal. And to find two verb forms, if you need help on that, you can always just go back to your websites that you use to find your definition and your synonyms and antonyms. And then our next vocabulary word from chapter 12 is gracious. We see this in the book when the narrator says, "And what we have here, what you have so graciously delivered to me, is definitely a rabbit. But the best chef in the world would be hard-pressed to make him into a pie." And once again, you'll just click this link to find your definition. You'll search up the word gracious and then record your definition in your own words on your advanced organizer. And then you'll click this link to find your synonyms and antonyms. And then you're going to create your example and non-example on your advanced organizer. And then you have the question, how can you be gracious today? And you record your answer to that in your journal. And here we have a picture that shows us what gracious may look like. Your chapter 13 vocabulary word resonate is used in the story when the narrator speaks, "Lucy, after her initial disappointment about Edward being unfit for consumption, took a liking to him and slept curled up beside him. Sometimes she even rested her muzzle on his china stomach, and then the noises she made in her sleep, whimpering and growling and chuffing, resonated inside Edward's body. So you'll find your definition, your synonyms and antonyms. You'll create your 2 sentences with an example and non-example in your advanced organizer. And then you'll answer the question in your journal, what is something that has resonated with you before? So think of something that has resonated with you before. Your next chapter 13 vocabulary word is makeshift. We see this in the story when the narrator says, the pants boy made himself, cutting up several red handkerchiefs and sewing them together so that they formed a makeshift covering for Edward's long legs. A makeshift covering for Edward's long legs. So you'll find your definition through your first link, your synonyms, antonyms. You will create your example and non-example. And then you're going to answer the question, what could be used to serve as a makeshift for an object within the classroom? So you're going to look around the classroom and you're going to think of something that could serve as a makeshift for an object. And then we have the vocabulary word invaluable. We see this in the story when the narrator says, whatever it was that had begun in Nellie's kitchen, Edward's new and strange ability to sit very still and concentrate the whole of his being on the stories of another became invaluable around the hobo campfire. So you're going to do the same thing for this vocabulary word as you have the others. And then you're going to answer the question, what is something that is invaluable to you? And record that in your journal. And then we have the vocabulary word alarming. Edward landed with a most alarming thump, and then he tumbled and tumbled and tumbled down a long, dirty hill. You're going to find your definition, your synonyms and antonyms. Then you're going to write your example and non-example of sentences with the word alarming. And then answer the question in your journal, what is something that you find alarming? What is something that you find alarming?